Steroids have taken over in 2024. This has to stop. When I was growing up watching YouTube, one of my favorite influencers happened to be Joe Linda. I love the alien gains, his passion in the gym, his message he was spreading. And sadly today, he's no longer with us, and he's not the only one. So many fitness influencers and bodybuilders have passed away because of steroid use and heart problems. So why do we have idiots glorifying them on social media, posting videos of them injecting steroids into their ass? And even more worrying, why do we have even bigger idiots following them, going online and buying these steroids that have been made who knows where in someone's bathtub somewhere? And I bet you're sitting there watching this or watching these influencers saying, oh, it'll never happen to me, I'll just do one cycle, it'll be small, I'll do it safely, I'll use SARMs. Cut the bullshit, guys. SARMs are no good. They're no safer than steroids. They do exactly the same thing to the human body. And let's be real, these things have effects to the outside of our body. Look at Dr. Mike currently. I mean, he looks insanely shredded, massive amounts of muscle, but look at his latest thumbnail of his cut and tell me he looks healthy. He's got club fingers, paper thin skin, facial changes due to growth hormone, abdomen changes due to growth hormone, varicose veins in his abdomen. And he's well educated, highly intelligent with great fitness information. But why would someone like that go on steroids? It blows my brain. Let's take it back a step. Let's not look at the agents themselves and the harm that they can cause. Let's look at the manufacturers. Those links on Instagram that you click on to buy your 10% discounted SARMs. Well, 48% of SARMs don't have any SARMs at all. 39% are full of other stuff. 9% are pure placebo, have absolutely nothing, and 59% are in the wrong concentrations. And originally, these products are not made for human consumption, yet alone whatever they're cooking up in their bathtubs. Let's say you got lucky and by some miracle the product you clicked on is what it says on the tin and it arrives at your doorstep. What is it actually doing to your body? So yeah, we know on the outside you look absolutely fantastic. Maybe on your first cycle you put a shit ton of muscle on. But then, a couple cycles in, you start to see the side effects on the outside of the body. Club fingers, gynecomastia, acne, thin skin, varicose veins, you name it. Can you imagine what these substances are doing on the inside of your body? And if you're sitting there thinking, oh, I've got no idea what they do, what could they possibly do? Let's go over it. So let's dive into the brain. What do steroids do inside our brain, right? We know that they affect our emotions. We get roid rage, but this is all to do with the limbic system. So it can affect your anxiety, it can change your personality. And it can change you so drastically that the people who love you cannot stand to live with you. What effect can that have later on in life? And that is just while you're on them. What happens afterwards, after you see all the massive muscles disappear when you go off cycle? That can lead to depression, even more anxiety, body dysmorphia, eating disorders. None of us need these things, and these are plagued in our social media at the moment. So let's go to the face, right? The money maker. You think, oh, I'll pick up loads of women if I get absolutely jacked. Well, not if your face is covered in acne and change the structure. Yes, change the structure. Acne is the least of your problems. If you take things like growth hormone, they can actually change the skeletal structure of your face, making you look like a totally different person. Let's take a real world example. Let's look at Zac Efron, one of the best looking guys coming up in Hollywood. Look at him now. He looks like a completely different human being. He claims that it was, oh, plastic surgery, what. Do you really think that that is from plastic surgery? Why would one of the best looking people go and have plastic surgery? This is most likely growth hormone. So let's drop it down a little bit. Let's go to the chest. We've seen the muscle growth on the outside. That's not what we're interested in. Let's look at your heart. So your heart comprised of muscle, cardiac muscle. Guess what happens? The same proteins that make your chest pop also make your cardiac muscle expand. You think, oh, growing a bigger heart, that must be good, right? Well, wrong. Growing more muscle in the heart equals thicker walls, equals less volume inside the heart to pump blood. Now you add that to being heavier. Yes, BMI is not body fat, it's body mass. So if you're 250 pounds lean, guess what? You're obese, depending on your height, obviously, but you will be obese. Now, if your heart has to work harder, because your BMI is through the roof, yet its capacity has reduced, that is a recipe for disaster. And then you take into consideration what it's doing to your blood vessels. Builds up plaque on the inside, again, slightly thicker walls, varicose veins is the least of the worries there. They are more cosmetic. Let's look at arteries, right? Same thing there. Reduced space inside. You get atherosclerosis, buildup of plaque on the inside because your cholesterol levels are tanked. All of this can lead straight to a heart attack. It's killed how many? You don't have to be next. Let's drop down to your abdomen. Now, I'm not talking about the six-pack. That is completely irrelevant. Inside sits your liver. Now, steroids can lead to liver cancer. They cause tumors to grow on the inside of the liver. So still in the abdomen, let's look at your kidneys, right? They are responsible for filtering things out of the body, filtering water. And guess what? Steroids cause water retention, therefore upsetting the homeostasis, so the fluid balances within the body. Now, water retention initially is just purely cosmetic. It's not a big deal. But what happens when the day comes when your kidneys say, I just can't do it anymore? That's enough, and we end up with renal failure. That endocrine system is so key, and people just absolutely neglect it. All right, so let's look at us men, for example. Our bodies produce testosterone to suit our genetics that balance out in our body, that are perfect no matter the level. Right, we start taking in exogenous, so from the outside sources of testosterone, our own body's production says, oh, I can take a back seat now, we've got loads, I don't need to make anymore. But then, when you stop taking it in, your body doesn't kickstart that process again. So your testosterone levels are tanked, your hormone levels are tanked, your cholesterol levels are tanked, and sometimes they do not recover. So then you're either stuck with HRT for the rest of your life, or absolutely no energy, reduced libido, no muscle mass, and it just all leads to shit. And that is in the short term. That is the short-sighted version. Let's say you're 19, you're on top of the world, you take steroids, feel like a big man, you missed Olympia until you're age 30, right? What happens when you're age 32 and you've met the girl of your dreams and now you want to start a family? And guess what? You've been abusing performance-enhancing drugs, and that is now not an option for you because your hormone levels are tanked. Nothing's working. Is it worth the short-term massive gain for something that can affect your entire life, relationship, family, your family's future? It's absolutely not worth it. Let's look at one that no one talks about, the immune system. Steroids, SARMs, all of your PEDs, most of them are immune suppressants. And how does that affect with all the other side effects? So you've got all this other stuff going on in the body, and now you've got a tanked immune system. It all just muddles together into a horrible, horrible cocktail that you do not want to drink. Let's talk about something that everyone seems to overlook. Tendons. How many bodybuilders get injured just before a massive event? Look at Sebum damaging his bicep tendon. Look at Nick Walker pulling his hamstring. Do you think this is by accident? It's definitely not. Every patient that walks into the clinic, we ask them a series of questions, often involving thyroid and steroid injections, mainly for joint pain, but some people in the UK will open up about anabolics. But steroids have a massive effect on the musculoskeletal system. Every patient that comes into the clinic, we ask a series of questions about your thyroid levels, thyroxine levels. We ask about blood tests. We ask about steroid use, mainly for joint injuries, but in the UK, people open up about anabolic steroids. Why is that? Because if someone comes in with bilateral Achilles tendonopathy, yet they've got reduction in thyroxine in their body and they have to take a supplement or levothyroxine, that can lead to the tendon problem. Hormones affect your musculoskeletal system. So if you take steroids, your tendons become weaker. They lose integrity. And let's think about this logically. Let's take science out of it, right? Steroids make you incredibly strong muscularly. And now your tendon connects your muscle to the bone. So let's say your muscle's now able to lift 20% more than what you could lift previously. All your structures in the body, they're reactive. So they react to outside stimulus. So your muscles will grow when you do more bench press, you put more weight on, it grows. Now if you're natural, your tendon will adapt and become stronger as you get more strength through the muscles in a natural way, slow and steady. Your tendon will adapt to become stronger. Let's say you take performance enhancing drugs. Now your muscles are saying, oh my God, I can jump in strength, and your tendons are becoming degraded and getting weaker. Then what happens? As you've seen in all the videos, you're on the bicep preacher machine, bang, bicep tendon goes. You're on an incline press, bang, pec tendon goes. Do you think those people are natural? I can guarantee you now, anyone who pings a pec tendon like that is most likely not natural and abusing performance enhancing drugs. Let's say worst comes to worst and you ping a tendon, right? You would look a lot better natural being able to train for all the amount of time that you're going to have to rest, if not require surgery. Sometimes your Achilles can take a year to build up the calf strength again, just to where you were before you got injured. Do you really want that? So we know why all the influencers and bodybuilders do it, right? Their main drive is money. No one would do this sort of thing unless there was massive amounts of money involved. Let's be real, if I posted a video saying I took train for 30 days and showed my before and after, my blood work, that would go absolutely bonkers and take off, like all the other people who do it. And the reason they do it is for the fame, for the money. I do not want to be that person. I want to do things slowly. I want to be an example of the way to do it correctly and the way to do it healthy. And anyone who says there's a healthy way of taking steroids has lost their marbles. That is utter bullshit. And the sad thing is, they're harming their money supply. That sound a bit confusing? Well, you guys are their money supply. You watching the videos, you supporting them. And guess what? They're setting that unrealistic precedent, and some of them are even selling steroids. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the person that ultimately gets hurt, for every one influencer there is, how many other people are there? How many of you guys that decide, oh, I've watched this video, now I want to look like that person and go and take the steroids? How many of you guys is that going to actually affect? The number's going to be a lot more than what you see reported by your influencers. The big question that keeps spinning around my head is, why on earth would someone take steroids? And the answer that keeps popping up all over, body dysmorphia. You looking in the mirror and thinking, oh my God, I'm just not good enough. Let's put that to the side. Trust me, look in the mirror right now. You are definitely good enough. You're more than good enough. And don't let anyone tell you any different. Don't be filling the pockets of some young influencer sticking needles up his ass at the age of 19 because he thinks he's cool. I can guarantee you, when he turns 30, he's going to look back and he will regret it. And you've watched that Will Tennyson video, oh, do you regret taking steroids? When people openly say, yeah, I'm on test and primo, or whatever it may be. What is their answer? No, not yet. So they are preempting, and every single one of them said that, they are preempting that one day they will regret what they are doing right now. Please don't be that person. Stick to your guns and trust me, you are definitely good enough. Alright guys, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Now if you want to watch someone just like you struggle their way through the temptations of taking steroids in 2024 in the stupid world that we live in, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. And please go check out some of my other content. Until then guys, we'll see you in the next one.